European Championship that will climax here at Wembley next July. So who knows what riches lie ahead 10 months on from now. England beginning after winning their first two matches in this group with 5-goal victories back in March against a Bulgaria team that is bottom of the group with only 2 points from 4 matches. England getting the game underway here at Wembley in a sunny North London. The stadium will have certainly 80,000 people in it. Still one or two, in fact more than one or two, quite a number of empty red seats on the top tier of the stadium, but a healthy crowd. And England in the white shirts, blue shorts and white socks, playing from left to right in the first half against a Bulgaria team in red shirts, blood red shirts, white shorts and red socks. The England team I will run through. In fact, I'll do that now because Rice goes back into his own half. Pickford in goal for England, Trippier, Keane, Maguire and Rose. Rice with Henderson and Barkley in midfield, and then the front line of Sterling, Kane and Rashford starting together for England. Those three up front for the first time since November. England and Bulgaria in this Euro 2020 qualifier, and England just playing the ball all the way back to Pickford. So alongside us in the commentary box here at Wembley Stadium, two England internationals in the shape of the two Chris's, Chris Waddle and Chris Sutton. First word from you, Chris, on what might lie ahead. Chris Waddle.
Well, you can see already Bulgaria have got 5. They're not playing a 4, they're playing a 5, and they are playing a 5, a little 5 in a lane. They're not going to come out at all. They've got 4 in front, 1 up front, and he's not really playing up front. He's playing on the deepest midfield player, which is Rice for England. So it's going to be an afternoon where Bulgaria damage limitation, and it's just a matter of when and hope England score very early.
And Sterling very nearly got through between Nedyalkov, the left back, and Bozhikov. Was just tackled wide for and behind for a corner. First corner of the match, almost 2 minutes on the clock. Barkley to take it here. Barkley deep towards the edge of the area. It's headed back, and in fact it's headed straight to Rashford, who hits the shot. Defender came and blocked it, and has blocked it back out from where it came over Rashford's shoulder for a throw-in to England. The returning, the recalled Kieran Trippier takes the throw. So the Bulgarian team, and there are 7 30-somethings in this Bulgarian starting lineup. All of them are 26 or over, compared to the England team, 8 of them are 26 or younger. So quite a contrast in ages. Bulgarian side, Iliev is the goalkeeper. The back 4, Strahil Popov, Nikolai Bodorov, who had a brief spell at Fulham, it's his 50th cap. Bozhikov and Nedyalkov complete the back 4, and then that 5-man midfield, Georgi Samov, who's 34 today, the central man, with Malinov on his right, the captain Ivelin Popov to his left, Vanderson on his debut, the Brazilian, now a Bulgarian citizen, with another Brazilian, Marcelinho, up front, and Galin Ivanov on the right hand side. But as Chris Waddle rightly said, Bulgaria looking to sit back and try and soak up the pressure. Chris Sutton, let's bring you in for a first word.
First word, I mean, the Bulgarians are not showing any ambition at all. You talk about cricket, this could be a cricket score, especially if England score early. They're an experienced team, the Bulgarians, but you wonder the age of their team, whether they have the legs and the nous. A lot of this Bulgarian team actually aren't playing regularly for their clubs, so they're going to be under pressure this afternoon. And the important thing from England's point of view early on is how they apply themselves.
And Georgi Samov, the midfielder who I mentioned, is 34 today. He plays in the 3rd division of German football for FC Chemnitz.
Yeah, and they're second bottom.
You can see already though, John, that ideally you want Sterling and Rashford to really hug the touchline, because they're playing a 5, and I mean a 5, and they're playing narrow. So it's suiting them when Sterling, as he's playing now, look, is a centre forward nearly, and Rashford. So they're relying on the fullbacks to give them the width and come and join in. I think go and get the two, Sterling and Rashford, and go and stand wide, pull that 5 away, make them bigger, so you will get one-on-one, and that's where you're going to get the joy, down the flanks. And you're not going to come through the middle of them. There's so many red shirts.
Clearance by Strahil Popov was closed down by Rashford, but it bounced back to goalkeeper Iliev. So it is England 0, Bulgaria 0. This is BBC Radio 5 live from Wembley Stadium, and it is the Bulgarians who have got the ball inside the England half. And here on the left-hand side, Marcelinho plays it across the box. A driving shot, which is more or less straight at Pickford. from Vanderson on his debut. The two Brazilians working together there for Bulgaria. First attempt on goal, Bulgaria.
Well, it was a good move, wasn't it? Some good passing, and he'll be disappointed really. He's hit it straight at Pickford, but for all we say in this game is going to be very, very easy. You can't be complacent.
No, and that was one of the first things that Gareth Southgate said when he named his original squad, that they have to keep their eyes on this great prize that there is up ahead potentially this season. But England 0, Bulgaria 0, and that was a warning. And it's very much the state of modern international football now that Bulgaria can have two Brazilians playing in their team. They're both in their 30s, both play for Ludogorets, the serial Bulgarian champions, but they have become Bulgarian citizens and therefore able to play. And here they come down the right-hand side with Ivanov. Low ball into the penalty area, but that is won comfortably by Harry Maguire, playing for England for the first time as a Manchester United player, just steered it out of play on the far side. Bulgaria's ball, first corner of the match, and it's going to be taken by the aforementioned Brazilian Vanderson, who trots over there. Vanderson was the player, by the way, if you like your social media, he was the Bulgarian player who recently scored for his club, ran into the crowd, kissed his partner, and found that the goal had been disallowed, and he was booked for leaving the field without permission. And the goal should actually have stood. Vanderson will take this from the right-hand side. We're told his partner is not here today. Here's the corner in towards the penalty spot. Maguire gets his head to it and nods it out towards the halfway line, and it remains 0-0. Still some business from the 3 o'clock kickoffs to tidy up for you. I think it is finished now between Wycombe and Lincoln. Aaron Paul?
It is Wycombe 3, Lincoln 1. 2 goals direct from a corner and a free kick all supplied by Joe Jacobson won this for Wycombe. John Akinde replied for the visitors, but there is a new name at the top of League One tonight, and that is Wycombe Wanderers. What a game. Wycombe 3, Lincoln 1.
And earlier in this group, Kosovo, who England play at St Mary's in Southampton on Tuesday night, you'll hear that on 5 Live, won 2-1 in Pristina against the Czech Republic. So that means that for the time being, at least, Kosovo are actually top of the group with 8 points from 4 matches. England have played just the 2, and Bulgaria attacking down the left-hand side. It is chipped down the left flank by Bozhikov, but tidied up by England and played by Keane. Back to Pickford. Vanderson wasn't far away from that, but Pickford picked his pass, and England are now passing their way out from the edge of their own penalty area. Rice preferred for this match ahead of Harry Winks. None of the, if you've just switched on, you've not heard, the remaining uncapped players in the England squad are all on the bench. Mount, Maddison and Mings, the 3 M's. Here it is back for England to the Champions League winning captain Henderson, who plays it back towards the halfway line to Maguire. Now Danny Rose on the left hand side. Rose rather than Chilwell, Trippier rather than Alexander-Arnold. Word is from Gareth Southgate that they impressed in training this week. That's why he says that he's picked them in the team for this game.
I think there are a lot of borderline calls in there. You know, you think of Rose. I think Chilwell's been better this season. You think that Declan Rice ahead of Harry Winks, that's a big call.
Here's another one, Barkley, but that's a nice ball to Rose, who's made himself available. Crosses low towards the near post, but in came Bodurov to get there first ahead of Rashford and clear it out on the far side.
Well, they've got to keep a high tempo, England. As you say, a lot of these players are not been playing week in, week out, and they'll be very happy if England are just playing in front of them, pass slow. They've got to really go for it, keep the tempo high and get that first goal.
Yeah, there were lots of FA Cup matches being played today, weren't there, in the first qualifying round, and I think there is a little bit of an element of FA Cup style football about what we're seeing here. And we all know that upsets are possible in FA Cup ties. Here, England have the ball on the left-hand side, but a packed Bulgarian defence in front of them. All those red shirts in 2 lines. 4-5-1. England with Keane to Rashford on the right-hand side. But Trippier runs into trouble, and it's going to be one of those days, one of those games where England just have to find a way through. So they'll need a little bit of craft. We'll go back to Old Trafford in a moment, but England in possession with Rose, who plays it over the top, took a deflection. That's chested down on the far side by Strahil Popov, who clears it away. Rose wins it back. Bulgaria wanted a free kick. The Italian referee Marco Guida said no, and England work it towards the right-hand side. England not really moving the ball particularly quickly in the opening 9, almost 10 minutes.
Well, they are moving it, but when it's gone wet now, this is where you need Sterling to run at him and have a go. It doesn't matter if you lose it.
Sterling up against Popov. Oh, beats him easily, then crosses to the near post, and it's headed behind, came off the head of Bodurov near the corner of the 6-yard box behind for a corner. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, that's really good from Raheem Sterling. Chops inside, then outside, gets to the byline, but there are so many Bulgarian bodies in the box. England need to flood the box when they get in those wide areas.
Barkley, corner taker on the far side as well for England. Still 0-0, early stages. We'll be going back to Old Trafford shortly. Barkley raises his left arm, then in swing into the near post, which is glance headed across the edge of the 6-yard box by Declan Rice. It was in position there, but Bulgaria have cleared, and there's been a little infringement in the middle of the half, and it's a free kick to the visitors.
Well, you see Sterling, who's hung up that left, now he's come back in the middle, but he just showed there he got a bit of joy, one-on-one, he's got the pace, he can go past the full-back, he's coming back this right hand. Rashford's got to hang wide on the left, stretch this team. You can just show there, you get one-on-one, they can't deal with these two players, but when they keep going in the middle, it's very easy for Bulgaria to look after them.
Ball-by-ball commentary on the test continues on 5 Live Sports Extra via the BBC Sounds app, and Eleanor Oldroyd is there at Old Trafford with the latest.
And Australia are 105 for 4. The lead is now 301 runs, and Steve Smith has scored another 50 in this Ashes series. Every single time he's played here against England in this series, he's scored 50 or more. He is remarkable. How long will Australia carry on batting? How much of a lead will they feel secure to declare at? Will they be haunted by the ghosts of Headingley? All sorts of questions to be answered. We can play up until around about 7 o'clock this evening. At the moment, they're 105 for 4, 301 ahead.
Yep, tremendously interesting, if you like your cricket. Sterling playing it back to Keane on the halfway line. England 0, Bulgaria 0. And England yet to have an attempt on goal.
They could just move the ball a little bit quicker in the early stages, taking too many touches, and that allows the Bulgarians to get back into their shape and set.
Yeah, they're not shifting from their shape. Sterling plays it to the edge, plays it back to Henderson, who lifts it into the edge of the box. Too many red shirts.
I know
it's
very early still in the game, but you know, when you start looking at it, do you really need 2 fullbacks? Why don't we just put Sancho out on the wing and say to Sterling, go and play with Kane, or Rashford, go and play with Kane? But the only way they're going to get through this team, as set piece, definitely could score from. We know England's strong at them, but in general play, it's when they go wide they're going to get the joy, and nobody wants to stay wide. Galin
Ivanov is challenged by Keane near the halfway line. He went down, but the ball bounced back for England, but Bulgaria playing it now all the way back to their goalkeeper, Plamen Iliev, one of the 4 Ludogorets players in this Bulgarian side, winners of the Bulgarian League for 8 seasons running.
5'11" the goalkeeper is. They got one on the bench, 5'7".
Very well, and he's a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah,
Chris.
But when he went for a trail, he had 6-inch studs in.
I saw him warming up, actually. I don't know whether you had a look at him, and I can't recall seeing a smaller goalkeeper at this level. Not only that, as well as being that height, he's 35. England playing the ball in from the left-hand side, looking for the delivery to the back post to Kieran Trippier, who is there, but it's cleared. Comes out to Sterling on the right-hand side. Sterling turns, gives it back to Trippier behind him. Trippier then slips it forward to Sterling, but too much on that, and that's an easy one for Nedyalkov, the left back, to turn and play it out for a throw 10-12 yards back from the corner flag on the right-hand side. Kieran Trippier, who's won his place back in the England squad and now in the England team after his good start with Atletico Madrid. Really interesting move that, I think, Chris, don't you?
Yeah, it's a move where very defensive side, really. Atletico have always been renowned for how good they are defensively,
and we'll see if it improves him as a defender. But this is all about coming forward, attacking fullbacks, attacking everything for England. Henderson back towards the centre circle, where Maguire pulls the ball down. I suppose there's an element of patience needed as well in a game like this. Maguire flights his pass to Sterling on the left hand side. Here's the cross, and it's hit on the edge of the area by Henderson, who was stretching for it. He was in the D, but he sent it high and over the angle of post and bar by, a couple of yards.
I'm not so sure Danny Rose meant to pick out Henderson. 22 yards out on the volley. Gets his right hip up nice and high. It's a decent strike, but It's not going to trouble the goalkeeper as well wide. Right hand post.
And it remains England 0, Bulgaria 0. And we've now played almost 15 minutes. England yet to have an attempt on target. The Bulgarians have done that through Vanderson. I think it took a little deflection, actually, the Vanderson shot from 12, 13 yards or so, but it was straight at Pickford, who was able to keep it out comfortably. England with it on the halfway line. Ross Barkley winning his 30th cap for England here. He turns. There's a little bit of clever footwork, a little bit of fortune as well.
Too many touches, though. Too many touches in the middle of the park. And it took another big call. Ross Barkley. Frank Lampard seems to prefer Mason Mount ahead of Ross Barkley at Chelsea. Mount has played more minutes than Barkley. I'd have liked to see Maddison given a go. I think he's been the best midfielder or English midfielder in the Premier League so far this season. I know it's early days.
Well, I suspect we'll see one or other of the young midfielders, Mount and Maddison, possibly both of them. Here's Rice near the centre circle. Rice goes for the ball over the top, but he's overhit that by a distance. No way Trippier's catching that. It's through for a goal kick, and it's still England 0, Bulgaria 0. So back to Old Trafford, and Eleanor.
We just had a moment where Matthew Wade was the subject of a review. It was given out, it looked like it was given out court, but it showed that it had hit his forearm rather than any part of his bat or glove. We then had a look at the review for LBW just to make sure, and that was not out as well. So Matthew Wade survives. Steve Smith is still there as well. His 9th consecutive 50 against England. He's on 53. Australia 108 for 4, 304 runs ahead.
Cheap throw-in conceded by Bulgaria. Goalkeeper Iliev looked up, saw Rashford and Kane not far away, and chipped it straight out of play for a throw, which England have taken. Possession back towards the halfway line though, and Barkley in quite a deep line position there. Barkley receives the ball back from Rashford, then back it goes towards the central defenders. Keane preferred to Gomez today. That's another one of those decisions. Sterling, lovely footwork, trips past a couple of challengers, and then Christian Malinov, little bearded squat midfielder, comes in and wins the ball back from him superbly right on the edge of the penalty area.
Fair tackle, good tackle. Watch the ball, but that's the way they're going to score. Listen, get it out of the two wide men and get at the full. It doesn't matter if you lose it, keep going at them. That's where you're going to get it. If you get round the side of them, get the cross across nice and early.
Yep, put the frighteners on them. Here's Sterling though, it goes back, and again the Bulgarians just drop back. Back they go, retreat, and allow England possession. The possession statistics must be overwhelming at the moment, but England lose possession. Henderson, and now it's being brought forward up the left hand side by Ivanov, and then rather clumsy challenge by Sterling on the halfway line. Down goes Ivanov, and it's a free kick to the Bulgarians, who are in absolutely no hurry whatsoever.
Sterling recovered well there. There's a weak challenge from Kieran Trippier. Ivanov carried the ball up the pitch, but Sterling, to his credit, got back and made the challenge.
England with 71% possession at the moment, with almost 20 minutes played. Rose leans forward and heads it up towards the halfway line. Rashford, now the ball centrally from Barkley. Sterling slips it in, and then it's turned into the net by Kane, but the offside flag came and the goal is ruled out. He's hardly touched the ball, Harry Kane, but he was in an offside position.
Well, it works against Bulgaria, because they've come out with the ball and started to enjoy it a bit. They've left gaps, and that is the first touch Harry Kane's had in the game, and it's offside.
Incidentally, no VAR in the Euro 2020 qualifiers. There will be when it comes to the finals across the 12 countries next summer, but not in any of the qualifiers, because of the need for conformity and the fact that it can't be guaranteed in all of the locations where these qualifying matches are being played. England 0, Bulgaria 0, and after Harry Kane's goal was immediately ruled out, and correctly as well. Bulgaria, long ball out towards the left hand side, and the flag is up against the left back Nedyalkov, who was a distance offside, and so England have the ball at the back.
You have to say, John, there's a poor run from Harry Kane. He just needed to hold his run, and we know it's going to suit England if Bulgaria do get brave and go toe-to-toe. It just opened up there. It was a good ball from Sterling, but Kane didn't need to make that movement so early.
And if you are on your way back from any of the matches up and down the country today, and you're wondering about 606 and hearing Chris Sutton's voice, there will be a 606, Chris, with you and Alistair Alistair Bruce ball is here at Wembley Stadium, and we'll let you know when the lines are open. It's a 2-hour extravaganza tonight, up till 9 o'clock, when we'll then have commentary on the women's final live from New York at the US Open.
I'm not so sure about extravaganza.
Extravaganza? No?
It's never been called that before.
Don't downplay it. So that's unlike you. Bulgaria with the ball in front of their own penalty area, playing it back to the fair-haired goalkeeper, Iliev. And now it's driven forward by Bozhikov. Nedyalkov, the Bulgarians not looking comfortable in possession, and England quickly have it back.
They are trying to play, though. They're not just booting it everywhere. They are trying to come out and play with it, but when they get over the halfway line, that's when the problems start, because they're leaving gaps.
There aren't many Bulgarian greats of the current age, but one of the Bulgarian greats of the past times is their coach now. It's only his third match in charge, Krasimir Balakov, one of that great Bulgarian side that reached the World Cup semi-finals back in USA 94. And in fact, they're sort of dotted around the Bulgarian Federation. The president is Bobby Mikhailov, remember him, the captain and goalkeeper, and his controversial hairpiece. And Jordan Lechkov as well. He's part of the setup as well.
Controversial hairpiece.
That's right, yes. I seem to remember a time when people weren't sure if it was a hairpiece or not. Here's Rice, who plays it out towards the left-hand side.
He probably didn't think it was controversial.
No, he maybe didn't.
That's something on 606. You can talk about that.
There is, yes. A wig special. Here, Bulgaria playing the ball away from the back. Bodurov, and then England can't keep it in on the far side. Rose looking to find Rashford. And it's one of those, Chris Waddle, frustrating.
Yep. No, listen, England's the tempo's high, but I just think they're too narrow. They haven't cottoned on that. Let's be honest, Bulgaria are holding hands as a 5 nearly at the back, so stretch it, try and make space. Nobody wants to play wide.
England 0, Bulgaria 0. BBC Radio 5 Live. 5 Live also the place for the game between England and Kosovo on Tuesday night, and also Northern Ireland Germany on Monday night. Long ball from the back from Trippier, looking for Rashford on the edge of the area, but that's headed away on the edge of the box. Evelyn Popov swings a leg at it, misses it, slices it. England have it back just outside the penalty area, in fact middle of the half really. Henderson now towards the edge of the box. Sterling just struggled to get the ball under control, plays it back to Keane. Keane passes it rather behind Declan Rice, and now it's taken up by Rashford on the left hand side. Rashford receives it back, might think about a shot. He's 30 yards out, he does have a go, and it's a dipping effort that dips wide and high as well, and into the advertising hoardings, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, he's always trying to chop back onto his right foot. He must be 30 plus yards out. That's optimism. We've seen him strike them before. One with Chris, quick switches of play are important. The joy England have had in these opening 22-23 minutes has been when Sterling has got on the ball.
Oh, goalkeeper's given it away badly. Sterling's onto it. Sterling pulls it back, and it's turned in by Kane. Well, the pressure told in the end. Awful clearance by goalkeeper Iliev. He just presented it to England, and Sterling and Kane were ruthless. And the opening goal comes in the 24th minute from the captain, from Harry Kane. It's England 1, Bulgaria 0. You'll hear Chris Waddle and Chris Sutton talk about it, and then Ian Dennis will take you through to half-time.
Hey, what is this all about? Listen, you've weathered the storm for quite a bit. You've done okay. You don't give a team like England a gift, and that's exactly what it is. What is the goalkeeper thinking? Why are they taking a short goal kick when England's got 3-4 players in the box waiting to pounce on them? What goes through players' heads? And the goalkeeper's just, he's in a no man's land. And Harry Kane, that is a simple finish for him, and that is game over for me.
No, I agree. Problems now for Bulgaria.
Well, England are coming forward again with Rashford. England then lead by a goal to nil, and Henderson then blindly plays the ball out towards the right hand side, expecting Trippier to be there, but Trippier the right back on this near side as England play from left to right in their white shirts and navy shorts. He wasn't there, and it goes out of play, but Iliev, ghastly mistake.
It was. I think he caught it on the end of his toe, but you have to say Raheem Sterling did very, very well, was composed, got to the byline, got his head up, and he weighted the ball into Harry Kane's path, 6-7 yards out, open goal. He's not going to miss that, but horrible goalkeeping. They should have played the other fella, Ivanov.
What, the lad who's yet to make his debut at 5'9", he'd have struggled to the 37-year-old. My word.
Good kicker, good with his feet.
Well, not being funny.
He talks well.
It couldn't be any worse, because that really was a bad error. And England, to be fair, needed it because they hadn't really created much until then, but they're offside. Sterling bursting into the penalty area on the right-hand side. The only thing for Harry Kane as well, I mean, he'd hardly been involved up until that point, but it now means that he's been involved in 22 goals, and he's now 30 competitive matches for England. It's his 18th goal, and he's had 4 assists as well. And I mean, England were always going to win the game. It was a question of just when they got that first goal.
Well, it is, but you just saw Sterling's had a lot of joy down this right-hand side. Now keep him out here. This fullback doesn't want to play against him. The third centre-half doesn't want to play against him. He's got the legs on him. He goes past him. He doesn't have to do a trick. He just has to move the ball out of his feet, and he's got the legs. So keep him out here. That's where they're going to get joy. They're not going to get joy with 3 of them holding hands.
Ball goes back with Bulgaria, red shirts and white shorts. Shaft of sunlight just coming through into the Bulgarian half on this near side, as in the end then the ball is seen back by Boshikov to the goalkeeper Iliev, who clears it away downfield. Rashford now on that far side, the England left, deep inside the Bulgaria half, about 10 yards up from the corner flag. Harry Kane, the captain, the goal scorer, gives the ball back to Rashford. Danny Rose, the left back, plays it to his Tottenham teammate, comes a little bit more central, finds Ross Barkley, lays it back off to the left-hand side once again. Rashford and Rose combine. Now Rashford all of a sudden is midway through the Bulgaria half. They're playing in front of Bulgaria, and now it's with Maguire, and every outfield player is in the half to the right-hand side. They switch it to this near side, and then Sterling beats his man easily, sends in the cross, and it's diverted away to the edge of the area, but he's got the beating of Nedyalkov every time on this near side, the left back.
He can't live with him, Nedyalkov. Those 1v1 situations, that's been England's danger.
Are you surprised?
Yeah, but why does he keep going inside and going to stand alongside Harry Kane? Why does he just? He's actually stood out here the last 5 minutes, but why does he just stay out here all the time? Every time he's picked the ball up, he's run at the left back or the centre half. He goes past them as if they're not there. So why does he want to go in there, in the middle?
Well, there was a degree, I think, of frustration from Gareth Southgate before the England goal, because the amount of time that he'd spent in his technical areas, just having a word with his coaching staff now. Trippier on this near side, the right. I was going to say to you, as that ball goes out of play, are you surprised that the fullbacks aren't pushing forward and offering more of a route for the width?
If I was a fullback, I'd come inside. I would be 20 yards inside. So if Sterling comes wide or Rashford goes wide, come inside of him rather than go on the outside of him. Let him have the space because he can beat him, but come inside. If he gets caught up, he can play it inside. He doesn't need, and he can use him as a 1-2 if he needs him. He doesn't need him on the outside of him.
Sterling coming forward, then it's been cleared away by Sarmov at the one of the midfielders in that Bulgarian side, playing 4-5-1. Maguire. Now Rice takes over. Now the fullbacks are pushed forward. Rose on that far side, the left. Trippier on this near side. Back with Rose once again.
England should just be looking to isolate the 2 fullbacks from Bulgaria, because Rashford and Sterling have the beating of them, the pace on them.
You know, sometimes, because I think when you play wide, like Rashford, like Sterling's done it right. He doesn't need to do a trick. The bloke can't run with him, cannot run with him. He's nowhere near him. And Rashford is quick, very quick. But he's wanting to do a trick and stop it and face him up and say, like, come and get the ball off us. He doesn't need to do that. He just needs to go a yard at him, boot it, and he's away. He's gone.
Sarmov plays the ball forward. Malinov wants to go back once more. The Bulgarian fullbacks are pushed forward as well as the 2 central defenders split. But because of England pressing, Bulgaria are forced to retreat on this near side, the left back. Nedyalkov plays it forward. Trippier, though, has fouled Vanderson, and that'll be a free kick to Bulgaria as England lead by a 1-0. BBC Radio 5 Live here at Wembley Stadium. And after 6:06, we've got the US Open tennis, the women's final. Serena Williams against Bianca Andreescu. And tomorrow night, it'll be the men's final in the US Open. And then on Monday night, more football from Belfast, Northern Ireland against Germany. And Tuesday night we're at St Mary's for England against Kosovo, who won earlier today, came a little bit late, and that'll be a free kick to Bulgaria. And in fact, it's a yellow card there to Michael Keane. The Everton defender is shown a yellow card.
Yeah, it's a clumsy challenge from the Bulgarian forward. He tries to nick in front on the halfway line, Marcelino, and he catches him. You see the idea, but he does catch him. Maybe a booking seems slightly harsh, his first one. But he's another one, a chance to impress for Michael Keane. I was a little bit surprised Gomez didn't start alongside Maguire, albeit he hasn't been in the Liverpool team as of late, Gomez.
Gareth Southgate was saying that last September they were caught out a little bit by not selecting players who've been playing on a regular basis. I know we've only played 4 or 5 games during the season, but I think that's probably why Michael Keane was given the nod alongside Maguire, as Bulgaria will come forward. And the ball is played out towards the right hand side, and in comes the cross, and in the end the downward header, and it was Evelyn Popov, and it was a soft header straight at Jordan Pickford.
That's 2 good chances they've had, you've got to say. I know England's dominated the football match, but twice they've broke away, and twice really they could easily have ended up in the back of the net.
That's a free header, 8 yards out. I think it was Ivanov, in fact, as the ball comes in from the right wing. It's 8 yards out. That is a golden opportunity. He does have to generate a bit of power on it himself. There wasn't the pace on the cross, but at this level, see Balakov in his technical area thinking, you've got to score that.
Yeah, it was in fact Ivanov. Only scored 1 goal for Bulgaria in his 6 previous appearances for his country. But as Chris Waddle says, Bulgaria now have had 2 decent opportunities, although the header back from Ned Yalkov was an awkward bounce really for Iliev, the goalkeeper, all in yellow, and he had to climb high to catch it two-handed on the edge of the area.
Well, just as well he's a 6-foot goalkeeper.
Yeah, the guy who's 5'9" would have been floundering. Let's go back to the cricket at Old Trafford. Ellie.
We're watching Steve Smith bat. It feels like it's something we've been doing for a very, very long time. It's not as if he's been chanceless in this innings of 70 so far in Australia's 128 for 4. He nearly had the ball trickle onto his stumps. First ball of Stuart Broad's second spell, and he was put down by Stokes while he was reverse sweeping. But the lead is up to 324 runs now, and crucially Australia are scoring at around about 4.5 and over, pushing on towards a potential declaration this evening and getting England in for 10 overs or so. 28 overs left in the day if we get there. Australia 128 for 4, 324 ahead.
Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. Remember, there are in-play highlights on the BBC Sport website. England still lead by 1-0 here at Wembley Stadium in the sunshine. England playing from left to right as they patiently build from the back. Maguire just strokes the ball forward to Ross Barkley, quickly releases the ball out to that left-hand side to Danny Rose. Now Marcus Rashford takes over, but England find themselves going back. Earlier we talked about the tennis. Jamie Murray, of course, is in action in the mixed doubles final. Russell Fuller.
Aiming for a 7th Grand Slam title here at the US Open, partnering Bethany Matak-Sands. They're the stronger team so far. Jamie Murray serving at the moment, and his team have a 3-2 break first set over Chan of Taiwan and Michael Venus of New Zealand.
Thank you, Russell. Maguire for England. Danny Rose then waits midway through the Bulgarian half on that far side. Rashford trying to just break away, who's been tightly man-marked on that far side by Popov, and he takes the free kick quickly. And now with Declan Rice as he comes forward. Kieran Trippier. Ahead of him is Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling tries to squeeze the ball into the path of Jordan Henderson, who'd made the run down the right-hand side. Nedyalkov gives it away, and tidying up is Rice and now Michael Keane. What are you wanting to see from the England midfielders, Chris Waddle?
Move the ball quicker, be a bit braver, switch the play quicker. It's all slow. That's a good ball.
Danny Rose latches onto it left-hand side. First time cross. Raheem Sterling can't control it. Just lost his balance as that bouncing ball came into the penalty spot area in the area, and the move breaks down from what was Good penetration on the left-hand side to find Danny Rose, and an opening for England just all of a sudden just peters out.
Wasn't an easy one, was it? The ball bouncing in front of Sterling. In hindsight, he may have thought about trying to hit that one first time. He took a touch, too many bodies in the box, and the ball was taken off him.
Pace of the game is quite slow at the moment. Danny Rose over the halfway line. Needs to be a little bit quicker, does it not?
Yeah, they need to switch the play and isolate the two wide men. Obviously, Rashford's more narrow than Sterling. Actually has hung out wide here on this right-hand side for the last 10 minutes, and he's had a lot of joy.
Ball cleared away by Nikolai Bodurov, who used to play for Fulham, actually making his 50th appearance for Bulgaria this evening. As Vanderson now will come forward, one of the two Brazilians in this Bulgarian side who've gained citizenship, and Vanderson now will come forward on the edge of the area and in the end overruns it. And there was Ross Barkley to play it forward towards Rashford, and that's a blatant free kick. And in fact it's the aforementioned Nikolai Bodurov who on his 50th appearance gets a yellow card, because just a cynical tug back of the white shirt, yellow card shown to him.
Well, he knew, didn't he, as soon as Rashford puts the burners on in the middle of the park, Bodurov was always in for a tough time there. A little bit of country dancing there.
This will be a talking point for you for 6:06 tonight. Watford have parted company with their head coach, Javi Gracia.
No way.
He was a man under pressure going into that game at Newcastle.
Well, he obviously was, but that is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this is a guy, I know he lost the FA Cup final, they got hammered. But how many games? Five games ago? 6 games ago? Took Watford to an FA Cup final?
Their form towards the end of last season did tail off going into that FA Cup final, but after the bottom of the Premier League, 1 point?
I think their form the season before they tailed off as well, and look what happened last season.
It's not new for them though, is it? As soon as they have a little bit of a problem, they change managers, coaches, simple as. They've done it all the time.
Ross Barkley for England, left corner of the penalty area. Rashford thought about the shot, plays it back towards Barkley. Barkley into the penalty area. Danny Rose is ahead of him. Complete mess of the attempted clearance by the stocky figure of Malinov. He got away with it. England have got it back, chipped into the penalty area by Rashford, over the shoulder of Sterling. He keeps the ball in play. He's done well there, Raheem Sterling, on the right hand side, up against Nedyalkov, the left back. Support from Henderson, first time cross, arcs its way into the penalty area, over the head of Harry Kane. Rose keeps it alive. The tempo increases by England, much better, and they get a throw. Javi Gracia, by the way, was the first Watford coach under the Pozzo ownership to actually ever sign a contract extension. That was last year, and he's gone. So you might well want to talk about that with Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton.
How many coaches they had in the last 6 seasons?
Well,
and they've done it, that's the way they like to go. They don't mess about. But I mean, talk about short-termism. Why would you want to take the Watford job?
His staff leaving the club ahead of the imminent appointment of a new coaching team. The one thing that they do, the structure behind the scenes always remains the same. Yes, the coaching staff of Javi Gracia will go, but everything else remains in place. 7 managers since September 2014.
Well,
1 win in 10 Premier League matches. Anyway, that's the talking point for Alistair Britton. That might even be a topic for Sutton Death one time. Name those managers since 2014. You can just see Ali Bruce Ball now going on Google, Wikipedia.
Yes, he often does.
Chance to try and break his duck.
Well, the one thing they have kept in place at Watford is the guillotine, haven't they? Don't mess about.
EBB wants to get their menus out. Never mind looking who's been managing Watford.
That stems back to a bet that he is that remains
a foolish bet.
It was a foolish bet, but he unfulfilled is that promise.
You said that, your stomach.
Here is Michael Keane to Henderson. High line from Bulgaria. England, though, go back. I don't think Gareth Southgate will be completely satisfied with the performance for this England. I know it's difficult because Bulgaria at times have had plenty of men back behind the ball, but they had a disallowed goal after 19 minutes. They scored 4 minutes later, And that's about it, as
Right,
far as what England have
if
created.
you looked at how many times we've been round the back or down the side, 3 or 4 occasions, and we nearly scored basically, it's been a threat there, right? So that's the plan, isn't it? And surely, but we keep going, everybody, look how many players go in the middle. They've got 3 midfield players in there. You don't need the full-back to be that. They're just making it worse. Get Sterling out, get Rashford out. If you just want to play out there, put Sancho on.
But would this not be the perfect occasion for somebody like Maddison, who's a little bit sharper on the ball in that position?
He can put Maddison in there, and he will see it. We know he's clever and he can see it, Pat, but it's the joy we're getting with Sterling's had the best attacking options forward because he stood wide for 10-15 minutes.
5 minutes to go to half-time. BBC Radio 5 Live. England lead by a goal to 0. They have a free kick. It's taken by Barkley. It's chipped into the penalty area, and Michael Keane is climbing all over the back of his man at the back. That is Ivanov, and it'll be a free kick to Bulgaria. We were speaking yesterday, John and myself, to a Bulgarian TV commentator who wasn't particularly optimistic. In fact, he actually said he'd be happy if Bulgaria conceded 5. But he said it could be 5, he said it could be 6, it could even be 7. Well, the avalanche of goals that he was possibly expecting has not materialised.
No, but they haven't shown any intent or real intent or ambition, have they? The focus is on the under-21s, which is baffling in itself, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, why not give the young players an experience like this? What are they going to learn more from?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday the coach was talking about wanting to copy the England model, but they have prioritised a lot with the
average age of over
30.
30.
They've got
copy the England model.
They've got 10 30-somethings in the 24-man squad, and a number of them, including the lad who we've been talking about, Hristo Ivanov, the 37-year-old, the 5'9" goalkeeper. He must have thought there was actually a lot of speculation he would make his debut.
He's not 5'9" as well.
He is. He's not 5'7". You claimed he was 5'7".
My sources told me 5'7".
Well, I saw him in the warm-up. He's definitely not 5'7". Trippier.
Maybe measure him up against Ali Bruce Ball.
Henderson goes back to Michael Keane, and Keane will clear long. And it goes over the head of Harry Kane. It's headed forward. Harry Kane with the interception. Bursting through onto this is Ross Barkley. Rides the challenge. Gets another knock from behind. Does well, Ross Barkley. Slips it inside. Rashford goes slightly back to Jordan Henderson. Declan Rice now sweeps it along the ground out towards Danny Rose. Danny Rose slips the shoulder, moves on the outside, crosses from the left, hasn't been dealt with, comes to Barkley, right hand side of the penalty area. Barkley waits, moves his shoulder, goes towards the right hand side, and Nedyalkov, the left back, with a high forehead, just moves the ball behind, and it goes out.
That's where you get the joy. Wade again, Danny Rose, great, drops the shoulder, decent ball in. Should have been more white shirts in the box, but that's where they'll get the joy. And really, Gareth Southgate's off team talk with concentration and get the ball Wade.
Corner is taken short. Trippier plays it in. Kane's header straight at Iliev, and although he catches the ball with both hands, he then moves away to his right hand side to make the save, but he didn't necessarily need to fall to the floor.
No, he'll feel, Harry Kane, he should have scored from that situation. He was under pressure. Was he 6 yards out straight at the goalkeeper?
The first set has been completed in the mixed doubles final. Russell Fuller.
And Jamie Murray is well on track to become the first man to win 3 US Open mixed doubles titles in a row. For the first time since 1960, in the company of Bethany Mattek-Sands. They've taken the first set 6-2 against the top seeds Hao Qing-Chan and Michael Venus.
Thank you, Russell. I know you're doubting about the goalkeeper, even off whether he's 5'9" or 5'7", but you laughed when I said that Nedyalkov has a high forehead. Believe me, I know what a high forehead looks like, and that's one of them. Rashford with a cross. That must be close to a handball. It was Samov as the cross has come in from the right. He's leaned towards his right. I mean, his arms were tucked by the side, but that was a dangerous motion for his body. The ball slipped down by Henderson. Rashford right-hand side. Barkley arriving late, overhits it, and it's been cleared up in the air by Boshikov. It's going to come out to Rice. He stabs the ball forward into the penalty area. Harry Kane gets the shot away. It's blocked. It rebounds out of the box. England now finishing quite strongly, although the lead is still a slender one, only by a goal to 0, and Henderson has then given it away. And then the little flick there by Marcelino, hardly mentioned Marcelino, and England are back in possession. We're about to find out how much stoppage time there will be at Wembley Stadium. Harry Kane, right-hand side of the penalty area, wins a corner there against Georgi Sarmov, who could easily... It was a risky decision to take, wasn't it, from
The
Sarmov?
referee was in a good position and he waved it away very quickly. We're getting the benefit of a replay here, and it is... No, he got it right.
Added on time. Barkley to take the corner kick, right-hand side. It's going to be an outswinger. It's deep. It's headed on. Henderson is there as well, and the referee blows his whistle. And in fact, that is the end of the first half, where England lead by a goal to nil. They had a disallowed goal, Kane, after 19 minutes, but it is the captain who scored the only goal of a first half of England 1, Bulgaria 0.
Well, England obviously total control, but you've got to say a couple of laps of concentration, not putting enough pressure on the ball, allowed Bulgaria with 2 glorious chances which they didn't take, either one of them. And but apart from that, England have dominated this. I just hate to see them get it wide to Sterling and Rashford more, tell them to play wider and get balls across the box, and that's where they're going to score their goals.
Chris?
Oh, well, Bulgaria have come to park the bus, and they have done. They actually have had a couple of opportunities, but I think it's been all too easy for England, really. They get the second goal at the start of the second half. I think it's game over already. No ambition from the Bulgarians. England, I don't think they've been great. Be interesting to see whether there'll be changes at half-time.
England 1, Bulgaria 0. Jonathan?
Well, Chris Waddle, you said very early in that half that you'd bring on Sancho and basically play 4 up top, right? So,
yep.
Which would allow you to play 2 old-fashioned wingers. And looking at Southgate for a lot of that half, his arms were outstretched, as if to say, let's do exactly what they're saying up in the box. Let's stretch the play. Let's get out wide. Why do you think that ploy is not being implemented?
I don't know why players get obsessed with going in. When you play wide, you feel sometimes you're not in the game. But you don't realise you're doing a job for the team, especially against a team like Bulgaria who will park the bus. And, you know, you need to stretch that 5, what's playing along the back. So whether you like it or not, go and put your foot on the touchline, both sides, and see what they do. And when he did do that, Sterling, about 10 minutes, he got so much joy. And that's where we're going to score goals, getting on the outside, get round the back and get balls across the 6-yard box or chip them up the far post. But when you all go into the middle of the park and the width less than the 18-yard box, it's very easy for 5 defenders to stand and hold hands.
And I know the test of Southgate, Chris Sutton, is ultimately going to be against stiffer opposition deeper into major tournaments. But this is also a challenge for him from a coaching point of view, isn't it? Should be breaking down a team like Bulgaria rather easier than they're doing at the moment.
Well, you say that, and I take your point. I totally agree with Chris about going wide. There are so many bodies in the centre of the pitch, and Bulgaria are basically saying, you're not going to play through us, we're not going to let you do that. So you'll have to come up with something different. The threat from England, the best player for England has been Raheem Sterling in this first half, but Bulgaria haven't shown any real ambition, and in the second half it'll be interesting. Will they go toe-to-toe more? I don't think they will. I think they're happy just to sit here and not get pummeled.
Second half to come. We're live in Southampton on Tuesday night as England take on Kosovo, who won earlier today against the Czech Republic. Monday night we'll be with Northern Ireland against Germany. The other main football headlines today are that Wycombe are the new leaders of League One and Exeter still League Two. Manchester City won the Manchester Derby in the WSL by 1-0. But let's take you to Old Trafford now as this Australia second innings continues. The lead builds handsomely, and here's Eleanor Oldroyd.
Yeah, bright sunny evening here in Manchester, Jonathan, with the shadows lengthening across the outfield. Australia's lead is 343 runs now, 147 for 4 on the board. And Steve Smith and Matthew Wade have put on 103 for this 5th wicket. They have recovered from 44 for 4 at one stage. And Steve Smith's scores in this Ashes series so far: 144, 142, 92, 211 and 81 not out currently. Ebony Rainford-Brent, what can you say about him?
And whatever he decides he wants this score to be, I mean, he's having fun at the moment. He is playing shots all around the ground. He's going at a good lick, and he's just incredible to watch. He's placing the ball all over the shop. What he is giving Australia is the opportunity to do what they want with this game. If they want to bat maybe another sort of half an hour or so, if they want to go till the morning, they hold all the cards right now. And they've taken that that little window we thought England might have a sniff, they've kind of just drilled that out the game.
Yeah, so where we are at the moment, the lead is 344. So they declared and set England 359 at Headingley, and we know that through the superhuman efforts of Ben Stokes, England chased that down. Will that prey on their minds, do you think? Do you think Tim Payne will be thinking, right, we don't want to, 344 is a lot, it may well be enough, but we don't want to risk it?
Just before I say that, he's just floored Smith. He's bowled a bouncer, which is, it wasn't that quick, but it kind of, it followed him. Yeah, Jofra Archer, and Smith has fallen on the floor. But yeah, just talking about those runs, I think the slight difference with this game is that there isn't that much time for England to sort of chase that total down. We saw with the Ben Stokes, England started 170 odd in the morning, whereas this way they'd really be starting from scratch, and I think it's a long way to go.
But it's about saving the game, really, for England, isn't it? This, I mean, in some ways, I kind of feel like the number of runs is almost immaterial. It's just England needing to keep on batting and keep on batting and bat throughout the whole day tomorrow. And actually do what Australia effectively did in 2005 in the Ashes series, where they had something like 400 odd to chase, and they got there. Well, they didn't get there. They saved the game. They were 50 runs short. But do you remember they saved the game? Ricky Ponting was out 4 overs before the end. Glenn McGrath was there at the bitter end as well. We were talking about it with him a little bit earlier on. But they saved the game then. So it can be done, but it's hard to bat a whole day.
It is very hard to bat a whole day. Look, if England can take as much time at this game as possible, and actually Australia, if we're honest, there's only an hour or so left of play today, so they are eating into time. If for any reason they continue for another sort of half an hour or so, that gives England all the opportunity to try and get back in this game. With the way Burns has played, the way Root played, and with the way we know someone like a Jack Leach could hold on at the very end with an Overton as another one-night watchman type option, you never know. So a lot of work to be done, but they are showing fight, this England side.
The chances are, we think probably Australia may well decide that in around about half an hour's time, they may declare then. They may need to push it on a little bit. I mean, they've been scoring at a healthy rate, scoring at 5.5 runs and over. So that is a good rate in Test cricket. Smith may want to get another 100. I mean, hasn't he got enough already?
Look,
he's on 82 at the moment.
I think the one about, if he was to go on and get another 100, I mean, we've already talked about how amazing a batter he is, but if he was to score another one, the thing about this is the speed at which he's gone. He decided to press the button pretty much from early on. And then we would have seen a bit of everything from him. We would have seen the sort of more ones where he's had to save the game, the ones where he's batted long double centuries. But this would be a real attacking, flamboyant innings, and we've had the whole treatment, really. So it's still a little way for him to go, another 18 runs to get there. But I sense the way he's batting, it's quite possible we'll see another century from him.
Yeah, 82 off 91 balls for Steve Smith, including 11 fours. So it's been an attacking innings. He's gone after the England bowlers. It feels like quite a long time since that post-lunch session where Broad and Archer took 2 wickets each. Haven't lost another wicket since then, Australia. The light may come into play here because it did start to get quite dark. About quarter to 10 to 7 yesterday. We could theoretically play until 7 o'clock, but I think probably realistically, as Ebony says, Jonathan, we've got an hour maximum still to be played. 25 overs theoretically, but probably only an hour. So at what stage do Australia say, yeah, we think we've got enough runs, we're going to declare and get England in to face a few difficult overs this evening? And if the light gets difficult, then the umpires will maybe look, a bit askance at Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc doing what they normally do, and that looks like a big hit from Steve Smith. Where's that gone? Is that gone? It's a caught, it's a catch. He's out, just as we were talking about a century. Steve Smith is going for it. Jonathan, we said he wanted to push it along, and he has gone for the big slog. Jack Leach takes the wicket. You can hear the response of the crowd to Steve Smith walking off the field. Now just watch the replay here. Jack Leach just tossing it up, and he goes big, and he doesn't get it quite right, and it's the Leach-Stokes combination again, Jonathan, because it's Ben Stokes who takes the catch in the deep. Steve Smith doesn't get 100 today, just the mere 82 runs. So that puts another question into Australia's mind. 149 for 5, 345 the lead. Do they declare soon, or do they just try and push it on and try and get another 30 or 40 runs or so and then get England in tonight?
Well, the commentary continues with the Test Match special team right now on 5 Live Sports Extra, and soon you'll be able to watch that dismissal through the in-play highlights on the BBC Sport website and app. Just ahead of the news, let's check in with golf's Walker Cup being played at Hoylake, and here's Ian Carter.
Yes, Great Britain and Ireland took the first point of the afternoon with a superb win for Alex Fitzpatrick, the younger brother of Ryder Cup player Matt Fitzpatrick, over the world number one amateur Cole Hammer. The home side are ahead in the next 2 matches. Indeed, they're ahead in 4 of the remaining 7 matches, down in 2. One of them's all square. Remember, it was 2-all after the morning foursomes, so it's looking good for a decent GB and I lead going into the final day tomorrow.
Good day for Charles Leclerc in qualifying ahead of the Italian Grand Prix. Good start for Jamie Murray in the mixed doubles final at the US Open. We'll talk about both of those stories after the latest BBC News. 5 to 6, here's Alison Hughes.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
MPs, including some Conservatives expelled from the party, are preparing legal action in case the Prime Minister refuses to ask the EU for a delay to Brexit to avoid a no deal. A bill requiring Boris Johnson to ask for an extension is due to get royal assent. There have been violent clashes in Parliament Square in Westminster between the police and some pro-Brexit protesters. A metal barricade was thrown at officers and some people tried to break through the police cordon. A man's appeared in court charged with murdering a 15-year-old boy who was repeatedly stabbed in North London. Perry Brammer from Tottenham died a week after he was attacked on the 30th of August. Ramayu Lindo, who's 21 and from Enfield, was remanded in custody. Jet skis, cruise liners and helicopters are being used to help hundreds of people leave the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian caused widespread devastation. The Royal Navy is helping to get food and supplies into the islands. 70 prisoners have been flown home as Russia and Ukraine concluded a long-awaited exchange of detainees. Planes from the 2 countries took the freed inmates to Moscow and Kiev.
Harley Vorstuck is back in town.
Don't worry, mate. This'll be painless. You won't feel a thing.
No, please, no.
And this time...
Don't be a baby, it won't hurt, it'll be quick.
He's showing his friend how to go paperless with his TV licence.
See, I told you it'd be quick.
Oh, yeah.
Managing your TV licence needn't be a drama. Go paperless at tvlicensing.co.uk/paperless.
This is 5 Live Sport with Jonathan Overend.
Live at Wembley, where Harry Kane's goal gives England the lead at half-time against Bulgaria. Tomorrow's 5 Live Sport features the Italian Grand Prix, where Ferrari's Charles Leclerc will be in pole position following a farcical end to qualifying today. All drivers except Leclerc and Carlos Sainz of McLaren failed to complete a flying lap after waiting to catch a slipstream. Teams had been warned that drivers could face penalties for driving unnecessarily slowly on their outlaps. Even Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff described the drivers as idiots. Well, let's hear the thoughts of his driver Lewis Hamilton on what needs to be done to prevent it happening again.
There will be a big debate within the sport. I'm sure the media will bring a lot up. The fans are probably weren't happy with today, and then as a team maybe we could have gone out earlier, but then so that would other people have gone out earlier? Who knows? But we're all fighting for that toe. Maybe there'll be some changes for the future because it's cascading down into the lower categories as well. But all I've got to do is focus on keeping the car on track and doing the best I can.
Race live on 5 Live Sport tomorrow. It starts at 2 o'clock. Latest from the mixed doubles final at the US Open. Jamie Murray and Bethany Mattek-Sands are set and a break up now on the top seeds Chan and Venus. Murray going for a 4th title in 4 years across the doubles competitions. Looking good as things stand. Later, Serena Williams against Bianca Andreescu is a fascinating women's singles final. Our coverage begins at 9 o'clock. Ireland 19, Wales 10, coming from behind there. Ireland to win at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin as the World Cup countdown continues. Main football news away from the international games being played is the decision by Watford announced this afternoon to part company with Javi Gracia. Only 4 games into the season, 1 point from those 4 games, but of course the man who took Watford to the FA Cup final last season, the first man who finished a season with Watford to start the next in the last 7 years, but he's given only 4 games of that season. And Alistair Bruce Ball, Chris Sutton will be with you on 6:06 tonight. And Chris Sutton, that no doubt will be a major talking point.
Oh, absolutely. I just do not get it. Why would you sack the manager this early in the season? You have all the pre-season, you bring players in, this, that and the other. Absolute madness to sack him.
Alistair Brisball, I'm told, is with us, but I can't see him, so I've got no idea where you are.
I take it he's not 5'7" either.
No, well, he shrunk, Chris, so he's disappeared completely. It might be you on your own tonight.
He's under the table here, look.
It might be sudden death against yourself tonight.
Well, I might get more of a contest. But
we'll put you in with John Murray.
We certainly want to hear from Watford fans. Do they think it's a good decision? We won't get one Watford fan in who thinks that is a good decision. That is absolute madness, Jonathan.
But, as Ian Dennis mentioned, it is the Watford way of operating, and they feel that they have a business model which works for them.
You sack a manager 4 games into
normally,
the season.
as I say, it's between the seasons and they start afresh, and they'll be thinking, we're bottom of the table 1 point, this is as good as, so now we need to make a change.
So it doesn't stench of panic then?
But this is Watford. This is their way of operating.
It's panic, isn't it? It's pure panic. Why would you do that? If you want to sack him in between the seasons. Don't do it 4 games in. We trust you. 4 games later, we don't trust you.
Watford fans, call now, 08085
Did they not draw the last game? Why not sack him before the last game then?
Plugging your number, mate.
Oh, sorry.
Save it. Chris is here after 6 o'clock. We're just underway at Wembley, but let's go to Old Trafford. Wicket. Ellie.
Yes, Australia 6 down now, 158 for 6. And Matthew Wade is out. Brilliant catch by Johnny Bairstow off the bowling of Jofra Archer. Wade out for 38, 158 for 6, 354 the lead. May not make any difference or huge amount of difference to the outcome, but it has slowed down the Australian momentum. 23 overs available to Australia this evening, but they're going to have enough runs to feel comfortable declaring. 354 ahead, 158 for 6.
OK, Chris Sutton's here, Chris Waddle as well, 63 England caps between them, and alongside Ian Dennis, sorry Chris, and John Murray. Couldn't resist.
That was naughty. Chris Waddle sitting to my right, 62 England caps. England leading Bulgaria by 1-0, second half underway, and no substitutions at the break. I'll run you through the teams again in a moment or two. Here is Danny Rose, though, for England, as they play from right to left, as they like to do in the second half these days at Wembley, and we've still got bright sunshine in shards across the pitch. Here's Barkley, right-footed ball curled into the area, but that'll bounce through to Iliev. So these are the teams. England, Pickford in goal, back 4 of Trippier, Keane, Maguire and Rose. In midfield, Rice with Henderson and Barkley either side of him, and then the front line of Sterling, Kane and Rashford. Rashford and Sterling have quite often switched flanks. Goal scorer Harry Kane opening the scoring in the 24th minute of this game, and he has now left in the England goal scoring stakes. He's left Peter Crouch and Tommy Lawton behind. That's his 23rd goal for England, which means that he is now level with Stan Mortensen. Bulgaria coming down the left hand side, ball in towards Maguire, who's able to just steer it out of play on the far side. And the Bulgarian team also, as they started the match, Iliev in goal, Strahil Popov, Bodurov and Bozhikov are the central defenders, Nedyalkov on the left hand side, Sarmov in the middle, although he's often dropped in between the central defenders, Malinov and captain Ivelin Popov, and then the forward players. And here they come down the left hand side, a chance, the shot from Vanderson from the angle, it's straight at Pickford, who's able to parry it away, and that is the third good chance that Bulgaria have had.
I've got to say, England haven't started the second half. Bulgaria have come out full of confidence, passing the ball around with ease. And as you say, John, that could easily have ended up in the back of the net. It was a good save by Jordan Pickford.
Yes, it was. And here they come again. This is with the right back Popov, but it breaks down on the edge of the area. Yeah, the Bulgarian front line, such as it is, Vanderson on the left, Galan Ivanov on the right, and Marcelinho through the middle. And now Rashford running at the Bulgarian defence into the area on the left, cuts it back, and he was caught. The defender slid in, Bodurov, and he was beaten by Rashford, took his legs. It's a penalty to England.
Oh, it's devastating, isn't it, from Marcus Rashford? Pushes it past, Bodurov says, let's get in a foot race, and then he chops it back, left-hand side of the area. Really good feet from Marcus Rashford. Chops it back, Bodurov already committed, goes down and catches him with his trailing leg. It's an easy decision for the referee to make, and now what a chance for Harry Kane.
He's already had a yellow as well, by the way.
He has, you're right. But it is Harry Kane who is going to take the penalty. We saw him take an excellent penalty in the North London derby last Sunday when he went to the goalkeeper's right. Kane to double the England lead. Up he comes right-footed, and this time he goes to the goalkeeper's left. A high penalty, sent the keeper the wrong way, and Harry Kane has scored both goals and is surrounded by his England teammates, and England lead Bulgaria by 2-0. And Chris Sutton, you said if England get another goal early in the second half, that's absolutely it, and that's exactly what's happened.
I think it's absolutely it at 1-0. Curtains for Bulgaria. Rashford wins the penalty, and Kane, he's not going to miss those, is he? Really confidently taken, sends the keeper the wrong way, and England 2 up and absolutely cruising. You can expect a cricket score now.
Chris Waddle.
Yeah, great pen. He's brilliant at them. I think Harry Kane's one of the best I've seen, if not the best. But that was a promising start by them. Now I think the heads have gone and England are in again.
Oh, they're giving it away to Rashford. Rashford shoots, but it's deflected back out towards the corner flag and bounces out of play now for a corner to England. So they lead 2-0, and
I think Mount and Sancho are warming up, so they look like the two is going to come into the game the next probably 10 minutes.
Corner from the left-hand side for Barkley to take. England supporters still heading back to their seats. Hundreds of them will not have seen England win the penalty and score the penalty to go 2-0 up. Flags being twirled, and this time the corner deep towards the penalty spot, which is headed wide by Maguire in amongst a crowd of players, but only steered it 4 or 5 yards wide of the left post. So England lead by 2-0. Ian Dennis, who's here with us in the Wembley commentary box, said at half-time the talk was that Quique Sanchez-Flores could return as Watford's manager after Javi Gracia has left the club, and that has been confirmed. Watford have confirmed that Quique Sanchez-Flores will be back, having left in May 2016. Chris Sutton.
Is that some sort of joke?
No,
really?
It's not a joke. It's
the guy they didn't want previously, they get rid of, and now they get him back?
Mind you, it'll be probably a very different Watford squad now. There'll be obviously 1 or 2 familiar faces. But I mean, the feeling was that, he didn't do a bad job, did he? Quique Sanchez-Flores when he was there.
Well, neither did Javi Gracia last season.
Yes, but the powers that be obviously decided that they needed a different voice, and that's what they've done. So you can talk about that with Chris and Alistair Bruce Ball. You can get your calls in 085 9096 693. You can get in touch now, hashtag BBC 606 if you're on social media. Text 85058. Ali and Chris will be coming up as soon as we've wrapped things up following this match, in which England lead by 2-0. Kosovo currently top of the group after their win earlier against the Czech Republic, but England will go back to the top with this scoreline and the expected win it is now. Here, Rose on the left-hand side with Rashford. Rashford's flick was blocked, and so Rashford again in possession with his heels almost on the white line down to our left.
I think he's been told at half-time he's never left this left wing, has he? He's stood really wide. I think they've been told.
Keane to Sterling on the right hand side, cutting in from wide, and then it's played back, and Trippier square from him, Barkley central, and then it's worked to the left by Rice and Rose, and again the Bulgarians are camped in even though they're 2-0 down. Rashford is able to slip a lovely ball through to Barkley, angles tight for Barkley, and he flicks it across the edge of the 6-yard box, but couldn't find a teammate in white, and Bulgaria should get it away, although Trippier's putting the Bulgarian defence under pressure, and they've lost it. Kane, who's on a hat-trick now in this match, but Bulgaria are able to take possession back, although England are pressing them back into their defensive third. It's chipped away, but only to Rice, and the white shirts will come again. So Harry Kane now 24 goals for England, so having drawn level with Stan Mortensen, he's now left Stan Mortensen behind, and he is level with none other than Sir Geoff Hurst on 24 goals for England in what is now 40 caps Here's Sterling on the right-hand side. Sterling going around the outside of the defender. He's been given a torrid time, Ned Yalkov, by Sterling. But this time Ned Yalkov had a mini success and was able to put a tackle in. England, though, have spent seemingly the last 5 minutes or so inside the Bulgarian half, but finally the visitors are able to break away over the halfway line. Strahil Popov plays it back behind him, and the captain Ivelin Popov is in danger of losing possession. Rashford is in on him. Ivelin Popov back to Strahil Popov, a little flick from him, and then back it goes into the centre circle, where Malinov passes it up towards Ivanov. Now Marcelinho, just with a lack of options in front of him, turns it back towards the halfway line. So England leading by 2-0. Who would you like to see come on for England in the second half, Chris and Chris?
Well, I think looking at it, looks like Sancho and Mount are going to be the twos coming on.
Happy with that?
Yeah, listen, you can make as many as you want. I can't see we'll get scoring 2 goals, never mind 1. Yeah, get them on now, and if you have to make 3, make 3. So look at the game on Tuesday now.
He's got a bit of a block, hasn't he, with James Maddison? Surely they've got to get him on.
Rashford running at the Bulgarian defence. He's got Kane to his left. The angle's tight. Kane drives it across, and it is held high into the roof of the net by the arriving Raheem Sterling, and it's 3-0 to England. This one created by Rashford and Kane, and finished on the goal line almost by Raheem Sterling, sliding in. There was a defender there, but Sterling scores, and it's 3-0 to England. Raheem Sterling, that is now 7 goals in his last 7 England appearances for the Manchester City man.
Yeah, it's devastating from England. Rashford does really well. It's Bulgaria who turn over the ball. He releases Harry Kane, left-hand side of the box, and Kane, unselfish, just feeds it across to Sterling, who I think it comes off his thigh, and he bundles it into the back of the net. And it's so easy for England. As soon as Bulgaria are going to open up and try and come out, England will exploit. They have exploited. This is a mismatch.
Total mismatch.
Oh, it is. I mean, Kane did very well there, squared. Sterling does well what he's added to his game over the last couple of seasons, getting in that box, getting in the 6-yard box. That's where you score your goals, and he's been well rewarded with it in the last 18 months.
So England now leading by 3-0. So having won their first 2 matches in this group, 5-0 here against Czech Republic and 5-1 in Podgorica against Montenegro, here they are 3-0 up. And I make it, incidentally, that England have never scored 5 goals or more in 3 consecutive qualifying matches, either for World Cups or the European Championship. However, it's only 3-0 at the moment, and England with the ball on the left-hand side. It's good to see, from an England point of view, Rashford and Kane and Sterling combining like that. Reminds us of when we were in Seville, and they did so well in the first half there against Spain in the Nations League last season.
The problem England are going to have to get to 5 is the fact that I don't think Bulgaria are going to try in any way, shape or form to actually get back into this game. I think they'll just sit in and stay camped and try and keep it at 3, which is embarrassing in itself.
But you can tell already, Chris, isn't it, the body language of them. You know, when it was 1 and even they had something to chase, and Harris, now look, they're just going through them. Look, they're just letting England pass it in front. Yeah, but they're not closing them down with any pace, any tempo. It's there for England. If they want to get 5, 6 or 7, it's there.
Yeah, the spirit's gone now for Bulgaria. 3-0 down. They're off to Dublin after this for a friendly against Republic of Ireland on Tuesday night. And this defeat here, and the fact that they've still got England to play next month, will be with England when they go to Prague and to Sofia. Their chances that were already almost non-existent of automatic qualification are disappearing very quickly. Throw in towards Marcelinho on the halfway line. Bulgaria in the red shirts, white shorts and red socks. There are about 2,500 supporters, Bulgarian fans, behind the goal to our right. But
that's optimism.
It certainly is. Ball played through the middle for Bulgaria, looking for the run of Ivanov, but a stooping header is able to clear it for England by Maguire. And here is Jordan Henderson, turns, passes it into the centre circle to Barkley. Barkley now had options ahead of him, but lots of red shirts there as well, so just plays it short to the arriving Henderson. And now Rose, back to Henderson again, square to Barkley, just forward of the centre circle. 5 Live, BBC Radio 5 Live. England leading Bulgaria by 3-0. We'll have another update from the mixed doubles final featuring Jamie Murray in New York in a moment or two. Looks like he's on the way to victory with Bethany Mattek-Sands. Rose playing the ball down the left hand side, but Rashford can't reach that, and it's through for a goal kick. So as I say, we will have 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball after this. We'll also bring you live interviews from down in the tunnel here at Wembley with Gareth Southgate and various other England players. And then later, 9 o'clock on 5 Live, live from New York, we'll have Russell Fuller and the team bringing you commentary on the women's singles final. And in fact, we can bring in Russell now with news on the mixed doubles final. Russell.
And news, John, that Jamie Murray and Bethany Mattek-Sands have just defended their title. They've beaten the top seeds Hao Qing-Chan and Michael Venus comfortably 6-2, 6-3 in the final. It's a hat-trick of mixed doubles titles for Jamie Murray. It's his 4th doubles title in 4 years in New York, and a 7th Grand Slam title for him overall.
And as I say, commentary on Serena Williams' final against Bianca Andreescu from 9 o'clock tonight on 5 Live. England preparing to make a change. The Bulgarians also, I think, are going to make a change. We've got half an hour to go here of this Euro 2020 qualifier. Christian Dimitrov is going to come on for the Bulgarians, but here's Rashford on the left-hand side. Rashford plays it square. Rice, the little midfielder Malinov was coming, so he played it back towards Maguire. Now Keane curls it to the right-hand side. Trippier gets it back on the right flank from Henderson. Barkley uses Sterling at close quarters. Quick feet from Sterling, then Trippier, and then Henderson back to Sterling, who tried to flick it forward towards the Liverpool captain Henderson, but it was intercepted, and the Bulgarians will bring it away. In 11 previous matches, in 12 previous matches between England and Bulgaria, the Bulgarians have scored only 2 goals. Here's Marcelinho, though, trying to take it on, but quickly the challenge came in from Maguire, and now Barkley with the ball over the top, which is overhit straight down the middle of the field.
Just come off the pace a little bit, England, haven't they? I know they're getting good possession, and Bulgaria's not really closing them down, but they've got slower and slower, England. I mean, as you said, if they want to get 5 or 6, they've just got to up the tempo a bit, and it's there for them, but they've come off the pace.
It's like a training game, though, isn't it? You just wonder the motivation levels. The one thing you would say is that there are so many places up for grabs for the Euros. It's important that the players who are now on the field are really at it.
Bulgaria, now there's a bit of space here for Strahil Popov to bring the ball forward, the right back. He gets it back from Marcelinho, but then Popov's ball, a cutback, is straight at Ross Barkley, and England can start another attack with Popov out of position, but it's played out towards the right-hand side. Sterling is there. Sterling just rolls it infield, and Henderson likewise to Barkley, and now the Bulgarians are back in position. And a Mexican wave begins to swing its way around the bowl of Wembley Stadium. Rashford on the left-hand side. Now back to Rose, and then Rice. Big cheers for the Mexican wave. There's certainly a lack of intensity in the game.
Look at the Bulgarians. They are camped on the edge of their own box, sitting back in. They're not interested in scoring a goal. They want this to end now.
England just knocking the ball around between the white shirts inside Bulgarian territory. Here it comes to Rose. Rashford is right on the left-hand side, as Chris Waddle has described. Now Danny Rose again, drops the shoulder, goes to the left-hand side, but turns and plays it back to Rice, who's behind him. Rice then low into Kane, who's dropped deep. Kane's first touch ran away from him, but he was able to find Keane, and now it's found Trippier on the right-hand side, and Trippier's crossed the near post, is headed up and into the air, headed further away near the penalty spot. England win it back just outside the box. Jordan Henderson trying to work a position, but he's forced wide and actually forced to go back towards the halfway line. And Trippier now to Rice, going to get another update from the test match shortly. But Rashford is going to cut inside and then curl the ball in, right footed. What a delivery that was, a stretching clearance as Harry Kane was in there looking for that hat-trick, but it was cleared away. Now it's back towards Rice. He might think about a shot. No, he goes square to Trippier, 35 yards out. Trippier out to the right hand side, then back it comes to the Atletico Madrid right back, Kieran Trippier. Barkley does well, beats his man, slips it to the left hand side to Sterling, back onto his right foot, but the offside flag is up and it remains England 3, Bulgaria 0 here at Wembley, while at Old Trafford, Eleanor Oldroyd.
Australia are 186 for 6. The lead is 382. No sign of a declaration just at the moment, but we think there could be one around the corner quite soon. Craig Overton thought he might have got Tim Payne caught behind, or Johnny Bairstow thought he had anyway. Payne took a wild hook at it. When it went over, it didn't get contact with anything, so England don't have any reviews left, but actually the time that was eaten up in actually reviewing that may be more useful than a wicket at this stage. 186 for 6. 382 the lead.
Thank you, Eleanor.
I can't believe they haven't declared Australia.
Well, they're a little bit concerned after what happened at Headingley, Chris.
I thought you were about Bulgaria.
Yeah, Popov might be thinking of leading them off. Here, Bulgaria with the ball in the centre circle. And in actual fact, Eleanor?
Yes, they were listening to Chris Sutton. They've declared. Tim Payne heard you, Chris, said this is ridiculous. Yeah, he's absolutely right. 382 is enough. That is the lead. England will need to try and chase 383 to win, but more pertinently, they need to survive half an hour this evening if the light stays with us, and then the whole of tomorrow to save the Test match and to go to the Oval at 1-1, because I think the chances of winning it are very unlikely. But then we said that at Headingley, didn't we? 382 the lead for Australia. They've declared on 186 for 6.
Yeah, it should be a good listen. Test match special, ball by ball commentary, 5 Live Sports Extra now, and also however long play lasts tomorrow. England leading Bulgaria by 3-0 here on BBC 5 Live. 2 goals for Kane, one of them penalty, and the other from Raheem Sterling, which was set up by Rashford and Kane. 25 minutes to go, and England are going to make their first change, and we are going to see, coming onto the field for England to win his first senior cap, Mason Mount, 20 years old, this new Premier League player who's made his competitive debut for Chelsea this season under Frank Lampard. He's been in the England squad, he's trained with England, he was in the senior squad last autumn, but now he's finally going to get his chance. Destined and tipped for great things, possibly for Chelsea, possibly for England as well. And onto the field he comes to take the place of Jordan Henderson. So a great moment in the young career of Mason Mount. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, he's had a good season last year on loan at Derby, and he's gone at this Chelsea side. He's fitted in straight away, and he looks like he can play in the Premier League quite comfortably. So he's got his reward, and just want him to go out and play like he did at Chelsea and go and enjoy it.
And the Bulgarians have also made a second change. The forward player Kirill Despodov has come on, the Bulgarian Footballer of the Year in 2018, and he has taken over from Marcelinho, one of the Brazilian naturalised Bulgarians. So England leading Bulgaria by 3-0. We're nearing the midway point of the second half, with England in possession inside Bulgarian territory again. Trippier, that's very much been the theme of the second half. Rashford's appeared on the right hand side, England going back towards the halfway line, and Jordan Henderson, who left the field on the far side, is being applauded all the way around while he takes his seat in the dugout. So midway through the second half here at Wembley Stadium on 5 Live, and it's time for Ian Dennis to take up the commentary.
So England will be going back to the top of Group A, thank you John, and then they will play Kosovo, who had earlier gone ahead of them after their victory in Pristina earlier today, as Gareth Southgate makes a point of coming across to pat the back of Jordan Henderson and shake his hand, as well as the Liverpool midfielder. I'm sure with that game against Kosovo in mind, as Mason Mount, his replacement, just on the edge of the area, had a sight of goal, but right-footed, a little bit off balance, has screwed it well wide of the goal of Iliev, all in yellow away to our left-hand side as England lead by 3-0. And now Steve Holland will have a word about Gareth Southgate and maybe think about, with Kosovo in mind on Tuesday, what other 2 changes are they likely to use in the closing stages of this game, in the last quarter of this match at Wembley Stadium. Will we see James Maddison? Will we see Jadon Sancho?
How would you feel if you're James Maddison and you've been the best English player in midfield in the Premier League this season, and yet Mason Mount gets his opportunity?
Well, I think it's Gareth Southgate it'll be based on how they've performed in training during the last week.
I think Sancho's coming on next. But he might be saying, yes, there was a big outcry, but the 21s didn't do very well in the summer, did they? He didn't really play as well as he did for Leicester. And as you say, if he watches him in training every day, if that's what he's judging him on, obviously he's not doing enough to catch his eye.
Trippier on that far side, the interception from Nedyalkov, the left back. It was intended for Marcus Rashford. Now Nedyalkov has continued his run over on that far side. Bulgaria in their red shirts and white shorts. Then he plays the ball in, looking towards Despotoff on this near side, the substitute, and it goes out of play for a throw. So Jadon Sancho will be the second of the 3 substitutes to come on.
The training thing is extremely interesting, isn't it? Because there have been some great players over the years who would never have played for their club or their country if it was based on training performances.
Just a reminder of the news in the Premier League this evening. Watford have appointed their former head coach Quique Sanchez Flores as their new head coach to replace Javi Gracia, who had left the club early today. Very, very swiftly done by Watford. Quique Sanchez Flores, who once described in his first spell as working in the Premier League as paradise. He took them to an FA Cup semi-final and then was sacked, and is now returning to Vicarage Road.
Do you think he only took the job on the basis that he said, you can't sack me again?
No, I think anybody who goes into that Watford job goes into it with their eyes wide open. As England are going to make the change, and Raheem Sterling, who got England's 3rd goal to add to the double from Harry Kane, is the player who'll make way for Jadon Sancho to come on. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, and I've got to say, second half, Sterling and Rashford have played very, very wide, which has helped the team, I think, control the game. I know Bulgaria's heads dropped, but they had a better shape to him, and Sancho has gone his way out to that right-hand side, and Rashford comes back across this left-hand side.
Yeah, the 2 of them have swapped. We've been playing for 71 minutes. BBC Radio 5 live here at Wembley Stadium. It's a formality that England will qualify. The only thing is that Gareth Southgate has been trying to impress upon the players is maintain the high standards, because England are one of 5 teams in the 10 qualifying groups with a 100% winning record, as Harry Kane, who's on a hat-trick, comes forward. Harry Kane has a sighted goal, penalty. Harry Kane was about to shoot and he was caught, and England have another penalty, and Harry Kane will have an opportunity to secure his 2nd hat-trick in an England shirt from the penalty spot.
That was a pen, wasn't it? He got a bit of luck, didn't he? The first one, cross came in, got blocked, and as he went to get the next one, his leg gets took away from him. So yes, here we go, hat-trick.
It was Dimitrov, the substitute, with the foul. He has already beaten Iliev, the goalkeeper, from 12 yards. He's placing the ball now. Harry Kane, who of course scored a hat-trick against Panama in the World Cup. England lead by 3-0. England's captain, Harry Kane. The referee's blown his whistle and absolutely blasts the ball past Iliev, and Harry Kane, with his 2nd England hat-trick, gives England now a 4-0 lead over Bulgaria.
What a penalty this is from Harry Kane. Brilliantly taken, goes the other side this time and whips it across Iliev in the Bulgarian goal. Hits the stanchion. It's a brilliant penalty, and another hat-trick for King Kane.
Don't forget the assist as well for Raheem Sterling. But that was as emphatic penalty you could wish to see.
He's just brilliant at that. He is. He just He knows exactly what he's doing, and the pace he puts on the ball, goalkeeper absolutely no chance.
Well, when England put 5 past the Czech Republic, that was the first time in 4 years that England had scored more than 3 at home, and there'd been 22 games since they'd previously done it against Lithuania. And John talks about the prospect of scoring 5 or more for the first in 3 consecutive qualifiers for the first time, but this England team are scoring goals. It was the first time when they beat Czech Republic and Montenegro that they put 5 in back-to-back games for the first time since 1984. And here they are now with 4 goals against Bulgaria. It just shows you how dominant they are in the group, although that was a loose ball out of the back from Pickford, and a free kick has been given away. And that was sloppy by England, and that will annoy Gareth Southgate.
Those decisions, isn't it? Jordan Pickford should just put his foot through it. You can't play all the time. And it goes to Jordan Pickford. He should think it's tight. You can see the Jason. Just put your foot to it.
I think it's even off. I think he may actually take a dive here. Chris is right. Jordan Pickford trying to be too clever. He's under pressure, and even off just dinks the ball over Harry Maguire's foot, and he does dive.
Well,
he's fortunate there to win that. There's no contact at all.
Sometimes it's about your concentration levels at this stage, and Jordan Pickford, who hasn't really had much to do, it was a rash bit of goalkeeping, not the best bit of distribution, as this is going to be Popov who's standing over it. Once turned down Blackburn Rovers earlier in his career. Well, the move never materialised to Ewood Park, but he's looking at this one, he's eyeing it up. England have got everybody back. They lead by 4-0. It's fractionally right of centre, just outside the penalty area. Evelyn Popov. Pickford waits on his goal line. He strikes it, and Pickford had to make the save. Just a couple of steps away to his left, one-handed save, turns it over for a corner.
He's a good player, Popov. Bulgarian's best player, plays his club football at Rostov, gets it up and over the wall, and Pickford gets his feet going well, gets across and just touches it over. Good pace on the free kick.
Corner kick on this near side, delivered in low. Desperov looking to turn. Oh, that was a pathetic dive. That was a pathetic dive. What would you say, Chris? You better than that?
He's better than that. Desperate from Desperov.
I thought it was about an 8.5.
Well, will that feature in the simulation?
I think we've got too many this week.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is going to be the third and final substitute for England. Gareth Southgate revealing earlier in the week that had he been fit, he would have been a starter when England competed in the World Cup last summer in Russia. And he will replace Harry Kane. Oh, but hold on. While England are leading here by 4-0, the news isn't great from Old Trafford. Eleanor Oldroyd.
No, Rory Burns is out in the first over of the reply. 383 the target. Pat Cummins the bowler, and just looping it up. We didn't know where it had gone, but it had gone to Travis Head. The light is not great here, Ebony Rainford Brent, but Rory Burns out for a duck.
Yeah, didn't pick that one at all. Got completely squared up. Pace coming in from Cummins, who wasn't rewarded in the first innings, but if there was a batter who was going to be there to support us, it would have been Rory Burns.
England are not sending in a night watchman. Joe Root is coming out now. They are 0 for 1, and they are really up against it if they're going to save this test match and stay in the Ashes.
Thank you, Ali. Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. Remember, Australia declared 186 for 6, and England was set 383 to win. But as Ellie and Ebony have already alluded to, it's not necessarily chasing the 383, it's how many wickets they were to lose. This is, remember, the penultimate day of that fourth test at Old Trafford. In-play highlights are also available on the BBC Sport website. The England debutant, Mason Mount, so there's still no James Maddison, he might have to wait. Tyrone Mings, another of the uncapped players, might have to wait as well for his first appearance in an England shirt as Jadon Sancho bursts forward over on that right-hand side, and England leading by 4-0 against this Bulgarian team. Mount plays it in short, Barkley with his back to goal, scooped forward, and eventually it's poked away by Sarmov for Bulgaria on that far side. When before we talked about that free kick for Evelyn Popov, And John had talked about Bulgaria's dreadful record against England as the ball is played in towards Ross Barkley, and Barkley will come forward to the edge of the area to Mason Mount. He tries to curl it, shot was blocked, still goes into the penalty area, travels. Mason Mount will win it back. He finds Jadon Sancho back towards Mount, and the ball, does it run behind for a corner? No, it'll be a goal kick. But the only previous time that Bulgaria have scored in England was in 1968. Aspar Ukov. And I'll finish that tale in a minute, because, would you believe, there has been another wicket at the cricket. Ellie.
The England captain Joe Root out first ball. Pat Cummins, one of the fastest bowlers in world cricket, has taken the wicket of the England captain, bowled him, and so England have yet to get a run on the board. We're still in the first over. Pat Cummins, don't need to tell you, is going to be on a hat-trick, so come back to me in a moment, Dano, for the hat-trick ball.
We will indeed. Of course, Harry Kane has scored a hat-trick here, but we don't want a hat-trick at Old Trafford, not unless, of course, you're an Aussie. But England leading by 4-0. So, yeah, the only other time a Bulgarian has scored, the only time, was Aspar Ukov. And would you believe that Evelyn Popov bought his shirt at an auction because he's held in such great esteem?
How much did he buy it for?
Well, that is what we don't know. But I wonder how much it went for in the Bulgarian equivalent of Sotheby's in Sofia. As Bulgaria will come forward over on that far side. Nedyalkov, the left back, loses out, kept in play though. Vanderson on that far side. Now it's with Popov. Hat-trick ball then at Old Trafford. Eleanor Oldroyd.
And Jason Roy is going to face it, a man who has had a distinctly average start to his Test career, to say the least. Ebony Rainford, Brent, you know him well. What can you say?
This is not ideal conditions at all. Pat Cummins has charged in all Test matches. He's number one Test bowler at the moment, and I tell you what, he's got a tail for it. He's livened up, and all of a sudden the slips are coming in. They're looking to put men around the bat. This is going to be a big challenge, and for Jason Roy, who will be short of confidence at the moment, this is the last thing he wants going in to try and save his team in the Ashes.
Yeah, Jason Roy just taking his time, just going down, tapping the pitch, having a kick of a few loose bits of earth. Matthew Wade and Tim Payne just kind of came together around him as he was preparing to face Pat Cummins. This is tense, this is nervous for England. They're 0 for 2. 383 the target. We don't really care about that, but they need to survive this ball. Here comes Pat Cummins now, bowls to Jason Roy, who just blocks it. Classic forward defensive from Jason Roy. Well played. That will settle his nerves just a little bit, but we're still in the first over here. Pat Cummins has taken 2 wickets. England haven't got a run on the board. Back to you, Ian.
And commentary on 5 Live Sports Extra, those in-play highlights on the BBC Sport website. £8,000 he paid for the shirt.
What's that in euros?
Barkley.
How much?
I sometimes feel sympathy for Alistair Bruce Ball working with you.
How much was it?
£8,000.
He wouldn't have paid in pounds, would he?
Just shaking my head at you.
You're just shaking your head?
I'm just shaking my head. Mladinov is going to come on, the third and final change for Bulgaria. 6:06 is on its way with a certain Mr. Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball. 08085909693.
Extravaganza.
Yes. Let's not forget that. Who's gone off? It's Ivanov who's gone off, and Mladinov has come on to replace him.
Ivanov's gone off.
With 8 minutes remaining.
I think they've all been off.
England will go to the top of Group A. They'll play Kosovo on Tuesday night. You'll hear it. We'll be at St Mary's. Back on the road, England, at Southampton. The night before, commentary from Windsor Park, Belfast, Northern Ireland against Germany. I'm sure that'll be an absolutely rocking atmosphere for Northern Ireland. Gary Flintoff's too good to you, the producer. Current rate for the Euros, 8,882.96.
Lucky you've got staff.
Barkley. Out towards Danny Rose on this near side, the left. Back towards Ross Barkley. Barkley's always looked to get forward, hasn't he? Sometimes, you know, the midfielders, you need one of those players to run beyond the forward players, bursting into the penalty area. He's done that on a few occasions in this second half as Ross Barkley. Sancho links back up, ball then played back out towards Danny Rose. Danny Rose into the penalty area, keeps his feet. Danny Rose still going. Danny Rose shot charge down off his left foot, about 6 yards out. Good play by Danny Rose.
Very good. He dropped the shoulder again. It's worked 3 or 4 times for him today. Great block though.
And back with Jordan Pickford. Rolls it to Declan Rice, and now back with Rose once again. Rice. England lead 4-0. Some of the supporters now are just drifting towards the exits to try and beat the traffic, and no doubt put 606 on in their cars as Declan Rice will play the ball forward. Here is Barkley, Rashford, Maguire. Rose forward to Rashford. Very congested, all in the central area.
He's not moving well, Danny Rose. I wonder whether he's picked a little injury up there.
He's been like that for about 20 minutes.
Rashford to shoot from distance. Oh, that was right between the legs for Sarmov. And his eyes will be watering. That would have hurt. That'll be painful. 17,373 lev as well, just in case you wondered, Chris Sutton, for the shirt.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Well,
none of your work, mind.
No, well, plenty of liquid refreshment is being taken on board by both sets of players as the eyes will still be watering, who is now only getting back to his feet for Sarmov. Danny Rose still feeling whether that's a little bit of a niggle down on this near side. Gareth Southgate wanted his team to maintain the winning run, wanted to score the goals, because the most important thing really, because as you say, it has been a mismatch this against Bulgaria, but England were always going to qualify. That never in doubt really. England's biggest obstacle, complacency.
It's
but
difficult.
They've got to try and maintain that because if they want to be one of the 6 seeds.
Yeah, it's like a practice game. And, you know, I mean, is there a case? I'm not saying this should be the case, but is there a case now for your Englands, your Germanys, your Spains and your France? Just give them qualification to the big tournaments.
Should be. All these teams should play in the finals. You want the big teams in the finals, and you can't say if they're not playing well they don't deserve it, but these are streets above anybody in this group, England. There's nobody near them in the group. It's embarrassing really for international football. So teams like England, and as Chris has just said, they should automatically be qualifying. It's ridiculous.
But if you think about it, there are 10 qualifying groups. There are only 5 who have 100% winning records: England, Northern Ireland, Italy, Belgium and Spain for the Euro 2020s. Corner kick for England, floated over on that right hand side. Dimitrov attacks it, heads it away. Danny Rose still not running too freely, plays it back towards Michael Keane. Dimitrov with a header away. Potential break now for Bulgaria. They trail by 4-0. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live with Chris Sutton and Chris Waddle here at Wembley Stadium. 606 is on its way. 08085 909 693. Don't forget the other news that Watford have appointed Quique Sanchez Flores as head coach. Of course, he was in that role, and he has replaced Javi Gracia. So that was the movement at Vicarage Road, as now Sancho will carry the ball over the halfway line, through the centre circle, out towards Marcus Rashford. Rashford now runs forward, he accelerates, looking for the return ball. That was sublime. Rashford still going, stopped though by the goalkeeper Ilya. Again, it was Ross Barkley at the heart of that with Marcus Rashford. Very, very slick, deserved a goal, sadly wasn't forthcoming. England lead 4-0.
Brilliant from Rashford and Barkley. Good little give and go. He looks so good off the left-hand side, Rashford, cutting in. He'll be disappointed he didn't score, just outside of the right foot to Barkley. He releases him, and the keeper goes down, but he makes a good save to his right-hand side. I think Rashford tries to dink him. Should have tried to lift it over him into the far corner.
This is Ross Barkley's 6th start in the last 9 England games. Of the midfield 3, Chris Waddle, he's the one who's tried to be that creative spark.
Yeah, I think, obviously with Rice playing now, Jordan Henderson play a lot further forward as well, with but Barkley's been the one, as you say, who's been more clever. I think Jordan Henderson's had a lot of possession with a lot of time and space and played very simple, where Barkley's been probably 20-30 yards higher up the field, where it's a little bit tighter and there's more bodies.
Bulgaria trailing 4-0 on the attack. Vanderson, left side of the penalty area, and will win a corner, although some of the 2000 contingent with the Bulgarian flags, the white, the green and the red, have already left, but those that have remained are waving those flags aplenty behind that goal, away towards our right hand side, hoping for a consolation as the red shirts of Bulgaria take the corner short on that far side. And back to Vanderson once more, who just stands still. England have everybody back. In comes the ball, and Pickford gets underneath it, all in green, and it's a two-handed catch for Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, fair play to the Bulgarian support. They must be wondering, though, the team they have at the moment, they're like an old lame donkey which have been put out to pasture. I think the players they've had in the past, though, Stoichkov, Stilian Petrov,
even Martin
Petrov, had some top players, haven't they?
If you look, Chris, all them countries like that, Czech Republic, Romania, all the players they've had, unbelievable players, some of them, where have they all gone? What's happened with the country? Are they not investing in football anymore? Are they not trying to produce players anymore? Because all these countries we're talking about had fantastic, talented footballers.
2004 was the last major finals for that Bulgaria had qualified.
Berbatov,
yeah. John earlier had talked about Balakov, their coach, being part of that side that reached the World Cup semi-finals in the USA in 94. 4-0 down here, and he's got a lot of work to do. He was in awe of England yesterday in a press conference. He was saying that we need to follow our model and match England. There's 2 minutes of added on time. Well, they've got a lot of work to do if that is to be the case, as Bulgaria trail by 4 goals to 0.
He talks about matching England, but he's leaving arguably his better players in the under-21s. Gareth Southgate is giving his young players an opportunity in the senior team.
Vanderson coming forward. Popov tried to return the ball to him. Barkley now midway through the England half goes back to Kieran Trippier, who, by the way, now of course playing at the La Liga league leaders Atletico Madrid after 3 games in the new season in Spain. He is the 20th, or he's at the 20th foreign club to represent an England player whilst playing abroad. Chris Waddle, of course, is one of those when he was at Marseille. In fact, Trevor Steven walked down earlier on. He also played for England when he was at Marseille. But Atletico Madrid and Kieran Trippier. Gareth Southgate went out to watch him earlier in the season, and that was a boost for Kieran Trippier back in the England fold. It's his first start in 7. There's just been an announcement about tube disruption, so if you're listening to the BBC Sounds app, then you might want to take heed of that, although that possibly has also meant that even more have left. There's a lot more empty red seats now around Wembley Stadium to try and beat the potential travel chaos away from Wembley Stadium, as Mason Mount, making his England debut of Chelsea, plays it back to Danny Rose. So just 2 minutes of added on time. The reaction will come from Wembley Stadium in the tunnel. We'll have Gareth Southgate live. It'll be into 6:06 that's coming up with Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. Not just talking about England, you might want to talk about Scotland or Wales last night, as Danny Rose is shown a yellow card. Northern Ireland fans might want to look ahead to that game against Germany on Monday, where we'll have commentary. There'll still be the updates from the cricket at Old Trafford, where England at one stage were 0 for 2. Would you believe? Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra, or in fact that news about Watford with Quique Sanchez-Flores returning. Yellow card, Danny Rose. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, Danny Rose goes to ground. He lunges. I think he does win the ball. Those type of challenges now you often see a card coming out.
Or indeed, you might even be an Exeter City fan on that long trip back to Devon from Carlisle as you remain top of League 2 after your 3-1 success. But here at Wembley, it was a formality ever since England got the opening goal. midway through the first half, and Harry Kane scoring a hat-trick, his second for England, with Raheem Sterling getting the other one. A comfortable win. England 4, Bulgaria 0. Chris Waddle.
A comfortable victory. Yes, Bulgaria probably could have had 3 goals if they took the chances, but that was it. England dominated the ball, dominated the play. We always knew England were going to win, is that they will win probably every game in this group, and it's all about rolling on to next year in Championship. So a comfortable win. Well done, England.
Yeah, too easy for England, too one-sided. It was a complete mismatch, really. Bulgaria, an ageing team, just weren't in the same ballpark. It was a stroll for England, and the team roll on.
England are a point clear of Kosovo at the top of Group A, and they meet Kosovo at St Mary's on Tuesday. We'll have commentary on 5 Live. Jonathan Overend.